Marketing Your Private Practice is a podcast where you'll learn easy to implement tips and strategies to grow your business without spending all day online. I'm your host, Kathy Colaiacovo, and I teach practitioners the Thrive marketing method to create simple and streamlined plans by focusing on long-term strategies, not just social media. Discover ways to spend less time on your marketing, attract more clients, and build the financial freedom that comes with a thriving practice. One where you have time left in your day for the people and things that matter to you. Hey, private practice heroes. It is Kathy Colaiacovo, and thanks for tuning into the podcast today. We are doing one of the free marketing reviews that I offer to folks as part of my podcast. So it's an opportunity for you to say, hey, Kathy, I want a little help with my marketing. Sign up. We'll book a time to come into my podcast recording studio, get you all set up in there, and basically talk for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so, like we're going to do here with my next guest, and try to get you over some of those marketing roadblocks that you have. So that's the whole purpose of these marketing reviews. It's not to get people on here and make them feel bad about where they're at with their marketing. We are going to talk probably about some mistakes or some issues that I might find, but that's why you're here. That's why people sign up. And that's why Mary Beaton has signed up, and she is my guest here today. Mary is from the local area here where I live in Nova Scotia. And so, Mary, I just want to say hello and welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Kathy. Thanks for having me.
All right. And so you're from my area, and I think we've been connected through different groups, but we've never actually met in person either. So this is the first time we've ever kind of sat down face to face, which is kind of cool.
That's right.
Yeah. So what you did was you went on my website, you applied for one of the marketing reviews, and you said you were looking for a website review, and I'm going to read what you put in that you were looking for. So you wanted to know how to be best found in a Google search for your business, for your company. So can you explain a little more to me about what you're feeling the problem is? But actually, I'm going to back up a second here, because I always give everybody an opportunity before we dive into that to make sure that we have an understanding of what your business is, what your services are. So if you want to share, Mary, just a little bit about, the name of your company, what kind of business you have, and the services that you offer, that would be great. And then we'll have some context as we go into this.
Absolutely. Thank you. So my business is Payroll Performance. I do a little bit of everything. So payroll, pension, benefits, audits, compliance, all over the place with that. Whatever anyone really needs, anywhere from 10 to about 500 employees is ideal. And so my website is payrollperformance.ca. And so it's not really a struggle of getting clients, but more so I feel like they come from a referral, which is wonderful. But my Google search is not high at all. Like, people don't actually find me on Google. So that's just something I wanted to improve on. And I do have a website, but I don't get a lot of bookings from my website. So I'm just trying to direct the traffic more to my website and more from a Google search. And I know you're an expert in the field, and I just wanted to start with you.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So I know you kind of gave us a little bit about the problem here as well. So I want to just pick up on, I have a question for you. I'm going to have a few questions for you, to be honest, as we go through this. And for those listening in, if you do want to follow along, Mary's website is payrollperformance.ca. And we'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. So, Mary, you said something when you did your intro, and this is why I always get people to do it, because I often find I pick up on something that wasn't on the website. So are you saying that your clients ideally have 500 or more people on the payroll to be an ideal client for you? Up to 500.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Okay. And so is there a minimum that you have? Like, can someone with 5 people on the payroll work with you?
I have a client that has 10, so I don't really set a minimum, but yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay. And just to get another understanding about that ideal client that you do work with, or a bit about them. So give me an overview of your typical clients, the ones. Now, maybe not all your typical clients, but the ones that you really love to work with. And hopefully no one's paying attention to that and on here and not going to hear you describe not them and somebody else. But it's really about who do you really want to work with? And this, in your case, you've got a very, 2 employees to 500. So there's a big difference in what kind of company that would be.
There definitely is. I guess the ideal role is for something to be recurring and for it to be consistent, which payroll clearly is. But it's going to be consistent whether it's 10 employees or whether it's 500. It will be more work for 500, but if it's a salary payroll, it's not as much work. So I guess that's the ideal thing. If it's not a lot of posting, like keying in the payroll, then that's ideal and that's great. So I guess that's the key thing for me. But we do a lot of audit and project work sometimes that goes in on the other spots. So it doesn't necessarily have to be recurring, and some of that work fill a lot of the blocks as well. So yeah.
Okay. All right. And part of the reason I'm asking is because I'll be honest, I didn't get any of that really from your website. Okay. So, and I know you're looking to get Google to, to show up on Google. So a couple questions that I do have for you are, what type of website do you have? Is it what is it built on, a platform?
It's WordPress website.
WordPress? Okay. All right. Perfect. And do you have Google Analytics set up and connected to your website?
No.
Okay. All right. And so my next question was going to be, do you have Google Search Console set up to your website? So that would probably be a no as well.
I'm going to say no because I don't even know what to do that. So
right. No. Okay. And do I take it you don't manage the website yourself?
I had a lady, Amy Harrison, set it up for me actually from Pixels and Pieces. So any back end work, like changes I can manage, but like official setup and anything major, no, I would outsource it to her to fix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but if you needed to go in and change some content on a page, you can do that, that kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. And do you know if you have because WordPress websites, there's a great plugin out there. There's several, but there's one that I love called Yoast for SEO. Do you know if you have that SEO plugin or another one on there?
I do not know.
You do not. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll be honest, I'm taking a peek in the back end on your code on your website, and I'm going to see if you do or not, and you do not. Okay. I'll be honest, right away, I'm going to tell you those 3 questions that I asked you right now are 100% part of your problem. My 4th question I'm going to ask you is, do you have a Google business profile for your business? So have you gone into business.google.com and created a profile for your company, for your business on Google using their maps and location?
Yes, I have.
You have. Okay. And do you know did you set up your company name there as Payroll Performance on Google? Yes. Okay. All right. So we're actually going to try something a little different here today. I haven't really done this before in a marketing review, but my editors say that sometimes when I do these reviews, when we talk about the website, it would be good to see it. So Mary has allowed me to go in and share my screen for this. So I am going to pop out and show my screen here on this. And then what we'll do is put this up as probably a YouTube video as a support to this podcast episode. So you'll all be able to find that there if you want to follow along with the video. Now, granted, that might kind of depend on how it all comes out and how Mary and I feel about it as well. So, but thank you, Mary, for letting me try this with you. I really do appreciate that. Yeah. So this is Mary's website. So it is called payrollperformance.ca is the URL. And that's her company name. And so Mary, one of the things, so you're not connected to Google Analytics or Google Search Console because they come hand in hand. You don't have the Yoast plugin on the website. And you do have, though, a Google business page. So this is kind of my test here. I'm going to do a little test and see if we can find your Google business page. on here. Y'all can see that I have been doing a little homework on Mary, looking in here. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you, Mary, you have huge competition. Okay. You have, and I'm sure you know that, you have ADP as part of your competition. A huge company located all over the world, I believe. And you can see that in this search when I put in your company name, Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, and your personal name. Okay.
Yeah.
The reason that I put your name in, I'm going to show you all what it looks like without, because it's a little bit different without Mary's name. We get, the big players here, huge payers. Your website is here. Now I've been on it, so it's going to be pulling it up a little bit from that. And then also I see in here, you've got your Center for Women in Business, which is one of our networking places that we're connected to. Your profile on the business directory is showing up there. And then there's some payroll services here under Yelp. It does come up with your LinkedIn profile. And part of the reason this is all doing this again is because I'm using your company name in this. Okay. So if you were to tell me, Mary, the service, like if somebody didn't know your company name and didn't know your name, what are they looking for? Payroll services? Okay. Yep. And they would probably go in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, or near me, that type of thing. So when we take your company name out of it, and when we take and we put in what your service is, we are, and this is what I saw yesterday when I was kind of prepping for this, you're not here at all. Okay.
And I'm actually rural, so that's probably why, because I'm listed in Hants County.
Right. Well, the rural doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter.
But we could do like in Nova Scotia. We'll try that. So, and again, you're competing with huge people, like big companies, right? So, but as we look through this, and for those that are watching me scroll around on the internet, if you're watching the video, one of the things I'm looking for is the places, because Mary has said that she does have a Google business profile, which if you are a company that does work with people, works with them in person, and they can come to your office, then that is something that you can set up. And it's a great thing to do because it helps with people looking for you in your local area. So when I hit more places on that, I'm coming up through here and it is going farther. So Mary, where are you on this map about?
I'm in Hants County, so between Turtle and Windsor. Yeah.
Okay. So you would be in this area here, kind of where I'm circling. So it is going farther out, but you're still not there. I don't see you listed over on the side as I'm scrolling through where they kind of name all of the different ones. Now, what is the name of your town that you're in?
Colaiacovo.
Colaiacovo. We've always got some interesting places here in Canada. So, all right. So I have put in your city now. And can you tell me, are you showing on here now? I'm going to be honest, Mary, I don't know where Colaiacovo is. No, I see Colaiacovo Trucking up here. So you're over this way, are you?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So sorry, it's just I can't quite read it, but yeah. So I would be like, where do you see like
where all this area is?
Okay. East Bloor, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So and I have found you on the side here. There is a list.
No,
okay. But you can see how hard this was, right?
Definitely.
And I'm getting there only because you're here and we're walking through it. So this is a big trigger for me that your business profile is probably not set up very effectively. Okay. Like very minimal. And here might be part of the problem. Areas served, New Brunswick and nearby areas. That's a different province. So that could be part of the issue. Okay. You do have, and there's always a little overview that people can put into their Google business profile. So yours says connecting with companies to maximize their payroll accuracy, compliance, and efficiency using a human-centered approach. As a certified leader in the payroll industry, we have access to tap into many resources to find the perfect fit for your business. Now, we've had a little talk about your main service, We've had a little talk about your location. There are a few issues with this description you've got here. Does anything stand out to you as what you might be missing? Just give you a little quiz here, a little marketing quiz. What's your
No.
main service, Mary?
A payroll.
What payroll service? Payroll. When you're looking at describing your service for something like this, I'm going to ask you now, how do your clients refer to it? What did they call it? Payroll service?
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Payroll service.
Right.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
So your little bio that you have here on the Google profile actually doesn't say the word payroll service within it. And that's going to be a keyword for you. Okay. Payroll is in your company name, but there's not many people that are looking for this kind of help that are going to honestly put a lot of these words that you've got into this description into a search. They're going to be looking for payroll services near me, payroll services for XX kind of business, payroll service for 20 employees, right? So what you've got here, it is a bio kind of about you, but one of the things you always want to do is make sure your bios are more about the ideal client and how you're going to help them. I always say to folks, there's main questions that people, when they come to your website, 5 main questions they want to know. They want to know that, who you are, who you help. So what kind of people you help, what problem you help them with, what kind of solution you might have, and how to get a hold of you and get started. But you have to make sure that whatever message you're putting out there exudes all of that. Because when they're coming to this, they want to know, does this person understand who I am? Do they work with my kind of business? Do they understand my problem? Can they help me with that? And then, of course, how do I get in touch with them? So right now, what I would say to you here, just looking at this, do you put your phone number publicly on your website?
Yeah, I want to say it's on there. Yes.
Okay. Let me check. We're going to go to the contact page. Right. Okay. So in here, you don't have a phone number. So for me, I think one of your biggest things that you want to start with here is get on that business profile and update it with everything that you possibly can. Okay. There are tons of things that you can put into this that are critical to people having that information in there. I'm going to just pop over to mine on here. I'm going to show you all. So if you're in Google, you go to your business profile manager. And so on your side, Mary, this will show up. Let me get this ad out of the way here. So this will show up for your business over here. And they've got like a rating here, profile strength. So it says right off, and it lets me know I've done a lot. I would always go in there and do complete info, like hit that button and go in and finish it off. Okay. You can go in and edit the profile. You can add photos. You can edit your products. You can edit your services. You can have a booking page link in there, although these days that's a little tricky and I want everybody to be careful about that. I've had a bunch of dietitians recently. Google did some sort of partnership with a company and went in and updated all of their booking pages to not their actual booking page. So I like to be careful on that. You can put in Q&As. You can add an update. There's lots you can do here. And just right at the top, you can kind of see like the phone numbers there, the hours are there that you can see. I've got some products. So within here, I've put in some of my products where I've got a cover image of the program, and then I've got a description. So I've got keywords in all of this as well. Okay.
Now, what if you offer a service versus a product?
That's okay. I'm actually a service. Mine has been around so long, it was under products, not services. So these are all services that I have. So they do have services, so you can go in there and do that. They have tons of other things in there. So you can see here, mine is marketing strategies and tactics to dietitians, private practice owners, and service-based business owners, right? So I'm talking about the ideal client in there. Got links to all my other profiles. But there's a lot more that you can do if you kind of follow what they have here. But I always say start off with hit the complete information and make sure you put it all in there. Okay. Valid, so for you, that would be the biggest thing that you want to start off with, is because you're just not filling in the information for people here to know, especially if they have found you here. And you do have some connections in here, right? It goes to your website as bottom parts. It shows other web results when people come in here. But it's a key thing for you is that you just need a little bit more information because it's not showing here. Now I'm not sure if you're one of the
That
ones
makes
under
perfect
here.
sense because I actually didn't have I didn't have my phone number on my website when I started, but I definitely do
Okay.
now because I
Yeah.
just recently updated my website, so that
Right.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
However, I should have circled back
Okay.
on.
So that will be a really big part of this, getting that on there, because when people go for payroll service company near me, you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of that. And this will help a lot. Okay.
Perfect.
But the other things that I mentioned are critical as well. So if we go back to your website, for me, Mary, there's a big messaging issue here. Is you want to make sure that when people come in, they really understand, like I said, those 5 questions, right? Who you are, how you help them, what problem you help them with, what kind of solution you offer, what it's going to do for them, and then how to get started. So your book a call is set up really well. You've got that very prominent here on the website, but your headline, feel organized and in control. That could refer to anything, right? That's a very keyword rich area there, and it has nothing to do with payroll. So part of what you want to do is, and then you do say it underneath, there's another headline, gain control of your payroll. We take the stress out of payroll, ensure your pay elements are set up properly so you're compliant with governing bodies, which helps reduce fine and penalties, control operational costs, and we help you plan for your future. That's a really good sentence and a statement, and it's good information to have on here. But you could also get a little more specific with it too as you move down on the page. You know, what kind of businesses, how many clients, a little more on the services. You do some audit stuff too. So that's a key piece of that as well. But your bigger one is that big headline at the top. Feel organized and in control. A lot of people will say, well, my company name's Payroll Performance. Aren't you going to get it? You don't want to have people working too much as you do this. You want to give them as much as you can immediately. Okay.
Yep.
So part of that would be you do want to look at the messaging on, and I'll be honest, on most of your website pages, because you've got, a bit of information here on the homepage. And then if I do go to the services page, again, I'm coming to the services page. I want to know about payroll services. So this big keyword rich area here says feel confident in your business again. But I can't, that's more like a homepage kind of headline type of thing, because I came to this page to find out what kind of payroll services you offer. But immediately I'm not seeing that. So you're kind of making me work. I've got to go down and you talk more again about this is more sales page. Payroll errors are costing you money, putting your company at risk, productivity is down. This is a lot of what you want to have happen before they come to your services page. Because if someone's hitting your services page, what do they want to know?
What your services are.
They want to know what your services are, but you've taken them to sort of a whole nother message here. Some of this is what you want to put onto that homepage. Some of it you could add into the services. But when you go down at the bottom, you've got it all hiding here. Payroll processing, pension, benefits, data validation, reporting, like education. So that's your services. That's what somebody coming to this webpage wants to know. So and that's more than we can get into here, but I just wanted to make sure you had some info on that, because that's a critical part for you, is making sure that the message you've got and the path you take people on from the homepage. Often they'll go to the about page, then they'll go to the services, then they're ready to contact you because they've done your checking out, right? Like what do you offer? Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you understand my problem? Who are you? So all of that is key, and you want to make sure they can follow that path. So your services pages definitely need a little bit of help.
Yep.
And I'm going to give you one big tip about your about page. About us. Meet Mary, the founder. Mary is this. Mary has this. Mary's this. Mary's this. Got all that. And then we've got Gina. So you have team members. Gina's passionate about this and that. She's from here. Blah, blah. So number one, every page on your website has to have a call to action button on it. So it's like, if you're here and you're exploring things, you want to get started, book a free call, talk to me now kind of thing. Okay. But do you see what else might be missing from here?
Link to I'd like
Your
to.
last name. I don't know who you are other than Mary.
Okay.
Okay. When you're in a service business, whether you're like Mary, a payroll service, private practice, dietitians, therapists, business coaches, people are hiring you for your expertise in your service, but you're not even telling me your last name on your about page. And Mary, this is extremely common. This happens probably about 6 or 7 times every time when I look at websites.
Okay.
People do not put their last name on there. Part of it is the old, oh, I want to keep my personal from my business. And people do that all the time with social media in particular. Like they want to keep personal Facebook separate. I get that. I totally get it. But if you have a service business, people want it. They're coming to your website. They want to know who you are. They want to know your name. They may take your name and check you out then on LinkedIn or somewhere else. Like some people will do that much research before they hire somebody. And payroll is a highly sensitive business service. So you want to make sure that they understand who you really are. And that to me would also include your last name.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. Yep.
But it's also helpful because if somebody met you at an event, a networking event, and they knew you did payroll and they knew your name was Mary, but they forgot anything else and they wanted to Google you, you having your last name connected here connects it to your LinkedIn, connects it to the website, connects it to anything that could be part of your digital footprint and lead people back here. But without the last name connection here, it's not always going to necessarily make those dots line up when someone's looking online. So that's why it's also a big thing here. But for me, it's more of a trust thing. Like if people, especially payroll service, right? People want to know who you are and you haven't given me your last name. And I'm not sure. Let's just look on the contact page. There's nowhere, I don't think, on your website that actually shows your last name. So team members is not as important, but definitely the founder, the owner, the person who we're booking a call with is.
Okay. Yeah. That's valid. Yep.
Yeah. So that's where I would start. Your website messaging, you do want to, and it's not it can be easy. I mean, I have a module in my Thrive Marketing Academy that teaches people how to install Google Analytics and kind of what to do to connect it on their website and connecting it to Google Search Console as well. And a lot of people think, well, Google Analytics are scary. They're for the big companies, not the small companies. But here's the thing, and I'm going to stop sharing here, Mary. So we'll just kind of go back to us on here. The thing about connecting to Google Analytics is part of the reason you want to do it is because the minute you connect up there, you've let Google, one of the top search engines in the world, know that your website is there. So that's a big piece of them starting to understand that your website is actually there. Then you want to
analytics up because I do get a report saying like I've got this many. It doesn't say hits on it, but it's like this many people visited your website, but clearly it's not set up like it needs to be.
So there's different ones that you could get. You may be getting the one for the Google Business Profile that you set up.
Fair enough.
Because it will say, that one will say you got so many calls, you got so many visits. Okay, if it says calls on it, it's probably that one for that particular one. And that's the beauty about the others is they'll send you reports too. You can go in and look at them. You can see where people are coming from, what words they might have used to get to you. So there's a lot of information it can tell you that can help you with your marketing and your messaging too. But the biggest thing is the minute that you do that connection, your website is then connected and they understand that it's there. And you can do similar things with Bing, which is another, that's Microsoft's search engine. Yahoo has one. YouTube is one of the bigger search engines in the world. So there's other ways to do this as well. But you do want to make sure that you talk with your web person and not only get the Google connected for the analytics and search console, but you want to make sure you put that Yoast plugin on your website because that's going to allow you to then put up a special keyword-rich title for SEO for every page and a description. And those titles and descriptions are what will show up as the content when your website comes up in a search for people. So those searches that I was looking at where you showed up, the information on there is what people see from those SEO titles. And because you have a WordPress site, Yoast is a plugin that's a fabulous plugin to use, and they have lots of great tutorials. But once you start doing that, then you can kind of help the game along and make sure that you're putting certain words on the website that will show up in these searches that actually help people as they scroll down the list of results. Yeah, I think this one fits more for me over this one, and they click it. So you're also missing that kind of piece of the puzzle in there.
Absolutely.
So those would be my big things for you, Mary. Part of it is, narrow down your messaging a little, understand some of the keywords and what people are going to be looking for you for and how they describe their problem. Updating then your website content, your Google profile, all of that with that kind of content and messaging, and then connecting and hooking up to Google and getting the SEO plugin on the website.
Yeah.
So those would be the main things that I would tell you you want to focus on. Again, I'll be honest, they're not simple solutions that you can do in 5 minutes.
No.
They'll take a little bit of homework and a little bit of time to put into play, and probably a little bit of technical help to get it there. But those would be the main things that will help you and help people find you, especially because you do have the business profile and you do have that type of service where you're going to work with local people for some of it. I know you work with virtual or remote people as well, but that's going to be a big part of this puzzle for you.
Okay, that's wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much for the
You're welcome.
Perfect.
So any questions about that? Like any other questions that you might have in regards to those bits of advice?
I'll probably have to look up a lot about the Google. I'll be honest, I'm certainly no tech expert, so I will need help with that. There's no doubt about it. I will certainly immediately update my Google profile just to get that rolling.
Yeah.
And reach out for some help on the website for sure, just to make sure I'm on it. But a marketing plan is something I've been meaning to work on for quite some time. That has not been my strong focus. I've been very fortunate. So I knew there was a lot of work to be done. So
well, and a lot of it, Mary, is some of your foundations. Like these are key foundations. So I actually have a quiz on my website that if you take the quiz, it lets you know where your foundations stand. I'll put a link to that in the show notes for everybody. But you can find it at pepperitmarketing.com/quiz. And it takes you through, you just answer some questions. And I always base my work with clients and what I teach on these 10 marketing foundations. And interestingly enough, your website and keywords and SEO are part of it. Your Google business profile and other directories, like you came up from the Center for Women in Business. That's a directory as well. So that's another place where you can put your name and your business name and information, and directories are great, same as Google business profiles. So those are some of the key marketing foundations that you want to have in play before you really look at marketing plans. And a lot of people want to jump to, let me put a bunch of content out here. But right now, if you start posting on social media and bringing, trying to get people back there or doing other things, you're missing the mark a little bit on the website. So I want you to look at that as, make sure you focus on that first before you start taking your time to put in a big whole marketing plan. I mean, it's going to be part of it, fixing these up. But without those fix-ups, there's a lot of marketing you could do that end up being not very helpful, because when they come here, it's not giving them the information they need.
You just did make me think of something. So I also, the same way that I'm on the the Center for Women in Business, I'm also in the East Kents Chamber of Commerce, and that didn't pop up as well.
It might have been down further. It depends how big they are, right? And how long they've been around. So those directory websites will always be dependent on that. And one of the things I tell everybody, go Google yourself, go Google your company and see what comes up. That can often give you ideas on where other directories are to fill in your information as well.
Yeah. Okay, valid.
Okay.
That's wonderful.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on here, and especially for allowing me to share my screen. I don't know how this will work and how it will end up, but we will see how that goes. And I just really appreciate when folks come on and allow, us to look into your business and share a bit of insight. I know some people don't always want to do that, but it's really helpful. And folks do reply back to me and say that, I looked at that and it was the same thing on mine. So just understand that you're probably helping other people today too.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for helping me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. So for anyone listening in, you can sign up for your own free marketing review as well. Simply go to pepperitmarketing.com/review enter your info, choose what kind of review you want, what your problem is, and we'll get you booked the same way we did here with Mary. And I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. I will also be putting in ways you can connect with Mary. So Mary, can you remind everybody of your website and where they might find you online as well?
Absolutely. It's payrollperformance.ca. And you can find me on LinkedIn or Facebook. Same page.
Okay. Excellent.
Thank you.
All right. And I will get all of that information from you to put in the show notes as well. And that's it for today, folks. This is Kathy Colaiacovo saying thanks for listening in. And remember, to thrive in business or practice will mean ensuring you have a clear message and that people visiting your website and the search engines understand what that message is so that people can find you online when they're searching for your services, which is something we all know could help them. I'll see you next time. You can find all of our show notes and resources mentioned at marketingyourprivatepractice.com. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at pepperitmarketing and say hi. I'd love to hear any feedback you have, and make sure to rate and review the podcast and hit subscribe on your favorite player so you don't miss any future episodes.